Now we have successfully downloaded the Whale packages on our machine. That means we can just run this Whale framework and you will see that we just get this tool running in our Kali machine. So let me just close everything over here. We don't need this. So now you have to use this machine or basically use this framework. So let's see how we can just do that. So here, first of all, you can see the available commands over here, and each of these commands have the information that is just given right to the next of it. And you can see the available tools, and the evasion is the payload generator, ordinance is a sub auxiliary or basically auxiliary payload. So let's use this Whale evasion to make the payload. So first of all, you can see that this update method is a very important method, because what happens is now and time again that the antiviruses will just update everything in order to catch our code or in order to catch our malicious code. So in order to just get that basically bypass every antivirus that is possible, you have to update this Whale framework time and again. If you don't do this, your Whale framework will be outdated and there is a high chance of your payload being caught by any of these antiviruses that is available in the market. So make sure that you update time and again if you are working with the Whale framework, because this makes your payload stronger than before, because it is going to update every database that is available in the antivirus. So this is basically some changes that Whale makes in every time and again, because we want the viruses or we want the backdoor to be uncut by any of the antiviruses. So make sure you update with this command, which is simply you can type update and you will just have the new version of the Whale framework. But now we are going to use the command. That means we have here that is the available tool, and in this case I have already told you before that we are going to use the evasion because we want to make the backdoor. So I am just saying that use and 1, because 1 is for the evasion. So if I hit enter, it is going to just give us some information now, and you can see we are inside now the Whale evasion. So we are inside the Whale evasion, and you could clearly see we have this 41 payloads loaded, and this will be also same information in your case. And you can see the available commands over here. So you can clearly see there is a back command and check vt command, which is basically check virustotal.com against the generated hashes. We'll see in the next lecture. You can see all of these command, info command, list command, use command, and everything. So let me say, if I say list, if I hit enter, you can see all of the payload, which is obviously the 41 payload, which is shown over here. 41 payload loaded, and we'll have all these available payload right here. So you can clearly see we have now this bunch of payload. You can just get any of this payload to communicate from the client to the Kali Linux. But you can see the naming convention over here. So the first one, you can clearly see that it is with the name flat.py, which obviously is a Python file, and it is written in this AutoIt. AutoIt is a programming language that is also a scripting language, same as a Python, but this is going to package your application. So this is AutoIt, and basically it works same as a PowerShell. So we write some code in the PowerShell, so that is similar to the AutoIt too. So you can see the interpreter, or basically the payload, that is written in these C languages, which is C programming languages, Go languages, which is also the powerful languages. You can see some of the payload are written in the PowerShell. You can see this bunch of payload are written in a Python. So we are going to cover what the payload we can just do, or basically we are going to cover reverse HTTPS using the socket programming, and we'll just make complete backdoor after we just cover that Python lecture. But for now we're just sticking to the Linux. That means we are going to do in the Linux way, that is in the Kali Linux way, not the Python way. So let's go and make use of maybe this 14th number, which is saying, or a 15th number. So let's go with the 15th number because this has the reverse HTTPS. So this is important. So let me first copy this because this information is very critical information. So let's copy this, and we can now let's open some LeafPad, and let me just paste it over here. So this is important information. So let's go down, and you can see now that we have this bunch of payload right here. So you have to now use any of this payload in order to make that is your backdoor. So in my case, I am going to use that is the 15 number. Let's check that is in the 15 number. So I'm just saying use 15. So now it is going to give us again the information that is showing so much of required options, and these are the options that is very critical. So you can see we have this YEL host, we have this YEL port. So this is basically the host and a port that the client machine want to communicate to this Kali machine. So you have to give exact information over here because this is critical information, and if you want the client to communicate to the Kali machine, this information should be correct. Otherwise it is not going to just connect to the Kali machine. So first of all, what I'm going to do is we have to see the IP addresses because that is the YEL host over here. So in order to see the IP address of Kali, because we want the machine that is our window machine to be communicate with this Kali machine, that means we have to get the information that is IP address of this Kali machine. So if I hit enter, so you could clearly see this is the information which is the IP address of this machine. But we have to now, we basically can't simply put here and we can just write. So that is not possible. So there is this available commands in order to change these options. So what we can do is we'll just use this set option over here, and I'll just say set. And now we want this YEL host. So it is case sensitive, you can't do something like this YEL host, so it should be all in uppercase. And if I say YEL host and the IP address 192.168, and that is 1, and it is 12 or 11, okay, it may be 12, yes, 12. So this is your YEL host. So if I hit enter, then we have now changed. And if I say info again, it is only the options, not show options. So we can see now we have changed this YEL host. So we have now the YEL host with the IP of the Metasploit handler. That means we haven't seen this Metasploit. This is also a framework that is going to give us a connection, but we are just saying that we want this handler which is basically the communication. So this is the parameter which is going to give us the communication between the client and the server. So next thing, you can see the YEL port. So I'll just change this YEL port to 2. So I'll just say set YEL port, and I want maybe 4444. So let's see options again, and you can see now it has been changed to 4444, and you can also see the YEL host. Now you can see some of these information which may not be critical, but I have just figured out that if you want to just get all of these bypassed, or basically if you want to get bypass from the antiviruses that is available, then you can change, or you can also make some modified on this name field. You can do something like you can just add the username. Maybe I'll just say set username, and username maybe hacker. So hacker is the keyword that is going to be traced, so I'll just say test. So you can do something like this because we want this payload to be different from another, because if you make a unique payload, that is not going to be traced or tracked by any antiviruses. So our main aim will be that is to make a unique from others, because they have the list, or basically they have the signatures of database. They have so many payloads that is in the file as a signature in the antiviruses, so that if our file or if our payload matches with any of that signature, then they are going to say us that this payload is a virus. So that is the way antiviruses work. So make sure that you make this payload as unique as possible, because if you make unique this, then it is not going to be traced. So let me change again the some of these arguments. Let's say I want to change this processors, which is right here. So let's give this processor maybe 1, and the options, now you can also see now options, and now you can see we have changed this processor. So now if you want to now generate, you can see the option right here saying generate. So let's hit this generate. and it is giving us information what this payload will be. So I'll just say payload is my payload name. So if you also hit it, that is enter, then it is also going to give us the payload as a default. So let's hit enter, and this is going to do some information that is going to package us as a backdraw. So we have seen now that we have now, so it is saying unable to create the file because I have already created over there with the same code. So let's go over here. I think I have created with the name, so let's go over there. And in your case, if you have done this first time, it is going to create in, maybe that is in the whale. So first of all, you have to check where that is stored. So it will be stored, in my case, that is var. Let's go to the computer. Var, it will be in the library. Whale is the framework, because Whale is a framework that is going to be inside this library. And now it is going to be in output and source, and you can see we have this reverse https.go and payload.go. So you can see we have created this output file, and this is the payload. And basically now next thing what you can do is you will just transfer this to the client machine. So we'll see about the listeners in the next lecture, and we'll just pass this reverse https with some basic delivery method in the upcoming lecture, and we'll just make a complete connection from the client to this server. So let's see that in the next lecture. See you in the next one.